Hello and welcome to the 52nd episode of the Gochuucast. The big 5-2. I guess it's not the big 5-0 would sound better. But someone decided that years need to be 52 weeks instead of 50.
Who is that guy?
Yeah, fucking go to God. I'm like, you couldn't have made this a little bit easier on the whole Earth rotation thing or whatever. Anyway, yeah, but we're at the 1 year mark of this podcast. Technically, I guess we're a little bit
yeah, we're 1 week before technically, but whatever, it's fine.
Well, not really. Yeah, technically, we're a day before it.
Okay.
Technically, are we? I was gonna say technically.
Oh, because we recorded it on a day.
Yeah. But wouldn't technically next week be the anniversary episode, and this is just the end of the year episode?
Yes. Correct. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's who cares? 52. That's a year.
Yeah. It's cooler to celebrate the year mark than the year plus 1 mark, where the technical.
Yeah.
But yeah, 1 year.
But yeah. So 1 year in. That means 51 episodes. Well over. Probably we're probably in the 60s of hours. I would assume, or 60 70 area in terms of time.
We're at least an hour for all of these. If
a lot of 55 is the lowest we've done.
Yeah,
that was episode 2.
I forgot that we had a sub-hour, but even then, we have so many episodes. I think our average is probably 120, 115 maybe. We had some short episodes when we first started.
2 hours. I don't know.
We've been getting some lengthy boys recently.
Yeah, we have been juicing it lately, but I know at the beginning we had a decent amount of episodes that would be just an hour or 106 or something. So
yeah, it was
our average is probably down at 110 if I had to guess, maybe 115.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I could technically add it up, but
we'll calculate it after this.
Yeah, technically we could figure it out
later in the episode. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll do it later. That's a lot of math.
But yeah, I guess we'll spend a little bit of the episode looking back on our year here. So first episode, we talked about what our top 10?
Top 10, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was top 10. Because I do remember making a top 10 list at some point when we did this.
We did a few at the beginning, top 10 best girls or whatever, best characters and stuff like that,
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure the first one was just top 10.
Probably top 10 anyway,
watched. Because it was also an intro to us.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Have yours changed? I assume they have, but
my top 10
that much. I don't know.
No, not my top 10 anime. No.
Yes, but I'd have to look at the list to say exactly how. Because I don't remember my original list.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact when we made that list, I had not watched. I don't believe I had watched Babylonia yet, and I had not watched Magirevo yet. And I think both of those I would consider in my top 10.
Okay, interesting.
Maybe we'll have to revisit. I would say that, actually, but my top 10 hasn't changed at all, so it doesn't really mean
Mine, I added Kaguya. I feel like I watched a lot of anime that were outside of my top 10, like 86 and ReZero and stuff like that, but
yeah, there's a lot of things that we liked too in here that we were like, "Oh, Spat, you should go watch this."
Yeah. I liked them. It's not like I didn't like them. It's just they weren't. I mean, I'm just looking at my annual list, which these ratings are whatever. But I think the most notable one was Kaguya. I really liked that show. I thought that was I knew people were hyping it up, but that was definitely super super funny, which for me is pretty rare because I don't really laugh at anime, as I've said multiple times. Yeah. That was really good. I like the characters. Yeah, really good show. Really good show.
Yeah, I still gotta watch the movie for it. I've read the manga though, so it's not an urgent priority, but before season 4 at some point.
It was good. It was really good. I mean, not surprisingly. There are some anime movies that I'll see come out that it's oh, I wonder if that'll be good, and there'll be stuff that in the vein of Kaguya, I would be more surprised if it was bad.
It's just canon as well, instead of generic shonen, we need money movie.
Yeah, exactly. But it was good. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but
I think episode 1. What's my favorite thumbnail I made? It's such a simple one, but it might be my favorite.
The episode 1 thumbnail?
Yeah.
It was a fun one. And it was funny because we all popped off when you made it too, because that was back when we had been talking about. It didn't last very long at all.
The Gochumon thumbnail era died immediately.
Oh, right, yeah.
We had been talking about how maybe all the thumbnails should be Gochumon characters. And,
nah, this is better. I like that.
We went, yeah, it turned out good. But we went 3 episodes, and one of those was the Jeopardy screen, so 2 episodes of.
We had 3, but when I decided not to move forward with that idea, I took it out of that one.
It was really the music episode that destroyed that idea.
I had no idea what to do.
I remember you trying so hard to make a Gochumon thumbnail.
There actually are more. I did the Christmas episode has a Gochumon thumbnail.
Yeah, there are a couple.
The manga episode is just the episode 1 thumbnail, but grayscale.
That's creative. I feel like that would be a good one also for like old anime. That's never gonna. It's probably not gonna be a topic, but that'd be funny. You could just make it all grayscale or make it like low quality or infinite possibilities. Actually,
funny if somehow you just like
140p.
Make 144 for the thumbnail. It is.
I could certainly do it. You look like ass though. Oh.
I do remember the first couple weeks with the thumbnails, us talking about the Gochumon only, and then we got to music. And after like 3 different conversations about it, Daniel was just like, "Nah, we just can't do it anymore."
You know what would be good?
And it wasn't that he couldn't do it for that episode. It was that he had a better idea, and he was also like, "This is gonna get so cope later on anyway, so we might as well just."
I was trying to do it ahead as like for number 5. I was trying so hard, I gave up on that one as well, and so I decided to give up entirely.
You know what would be good? If you have like an episode on old anime, you just make the audio quality like absolutely terrible, like it would be in like.
We talk like the old English dubs. In like really exaggerated voices, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. We have a Ghost Story special episode, yeah.
You know what? Oh, Ghost, get canceled, yeah.
Okay. Actually, it's a bad idea.
Yeah. Actually, maybe anime characters we can beat in a fight thumbnail might be up there.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Ed and Eddie.
I forgot about the Ed and Eddie. Yeah, there's some other fun ones. I mean, obviously, the first couple of these we were just kind of doing stuff, so it's like the isekai thumbnail is fun, but it's also just isekai things.
Yeah, my worst one by far might be the fantasy anime one. I was really tired. I forgot to make a thumbnail, and I go home like, fuck, dude, I really don't want to do this right now. And so I put the most generic bullshit on there and just gave up.
One of my favorites is the Lace thumbnail when we had the collab with Lace.
The Lace Pug.
We have the -$100 that really spoke to my soul. Seeing as that man has a video on his channel where you could see me spending $500 live on stream.
Yeah.
Really spoke to me when I saw that one.
Yeah, I've been changing up the recently with the thumbnails. It started back with the I guess technically in the manga episode, but really it was the Christmas episode where I changed the little bar at the bottom. But I've done it the past few episodes now, and I'll probably do it this one as well. I don't know if I'll keep doing that, but it's nice to like match the picture, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit of variety, too.
Actually, you know what? Guess the anime character. That's my worst thumbnail. I was also not having it with that one. Oh. That's a bad thumbnail. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I think my favorite episodes were the game show ones. They're always like fun.
Yeah.
I think what I was thinking of was Family Feud. I don't know how we do that. I think we can like make surveys and.
Why spat leaking?
Leaking.
I'm not leaking. It's a possibility.
I guess insider info. I've been working on.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Actually, yeah.
This fucking guy, big leaker. I'm not going back into deal with that.
That's crazy.
This is definitely something I've been working on very slowly, but I've gotten really busy as of late.
So that's fair. It's
kind of slowed.
Yeah. When's the spat game show?
It works now because
I have to think
Daniel has grown so much on his main channel that now we also have an audience. We can be like, "Hey guys, fill this out."
Yeah,
that'd be good.
It might be a little cope, but
well,
I mean, even besides, like, I have access to 100, 200, 300 people that could fill it out as well. So it's like, even if just those numbers are matched, or even just another like 100, that's still nice.
Yeah, I technically have. I mean, I don't have a negative audience or anything. It's just how much of an audience do I have that would fill out a Google form or something?
Yeah.
I mean, through the community tab, it's.
Oh yeah, it's a matter of how many people see it through the community tab, though. Because like a lot of the impressions with that stuff just kind of depends on what you do, because if it's what's it called, like a quiz or a image poll, those like get a lot of interaction. But if it's like just literally anything else,
oh
really.
right, yeah, because if you have like family feed, it'd be like a more complicated like Google Forms and stuff.
Like,
I still think you can get a few people.
You have to like put an image, like click on the link or whatever, and no one's gonna fucking do that. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, I do agree that I think the game episodes are fun. It's also just sometimes hard to do some game ideas we've had, keeping in mind that as a podcast, it's mostly a audio experience.
Yes.
And like there can be a visual element to it, and we have a little bit on the YouTube channel, obviously, but we try not to overdo it. Because there are some things that we've talked about for game ideas that are just kind of too visually appealing.
Yeah, I don't want to completely talk over the. Well, because while it's not like an insanely large audience, it is still an audience regardless.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's important as a podcast to be doing a podcast. So I think that's consistent and makes sense. But I definitely do think that the game episode that we did was fun, and hopefully we can get a few more of those.
Yeah.
In the coming year.
Yeah. It's just we have to think of some good ideas. There's a lot of shows on TV, but a lot of them just kind of you need the visual part, so we'll have to work around it or figure something out.
Just episodes in general. We're cooking right now.
Yep.
I think it might have been one of our worst episodes, but I really liked the one where we all wrote an anime and talked about it. I don't know if
that was funny. I think it was. I think the beginning of it might have been like the worst start we could have had.
Yeah. But so what I was gonna say is, I think it's hurt by the fact that it was very early into us podcasting.
You mean okay? I'm stupid. Write our own edit. I was thinking about the AI writing.
No. Yeah, not the AI one. The one episode 3 where we wrote our own. I think it was fun. We enjoyed it. It may have been a little early into the podcast career.
Yeah, I think we're definitely a lot better now than we were.
I did like the AI one. That one is. I feel like that was a very creative use of like a modern topic or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, the AI one's great, and it was so much fun because we didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah. But now we know a lot more about the podcast. We know more about each other. It's that big study guy, and the AI taught us that.
Yeah, apparently that's the meme now.
Yes, I think our worst episode. I mean, if we look solely at the performance end of things, the video game episode is the biggest cope we've had thus far. I believe it is, unless the live action one.
That probably checks out for quality too. Mainly because, as interesting as I thought the video game topic would be when I brought it up, it just didn't end up being as interesting, I felt, as we were talking about it. Mainly because there's so many flops in anime video games.
Yeah. Does not have a good reputation, that's for sure. I think the it's kind of hard because like I think this I don't want to call it like spin-off media, I guess, of anime can sometimes just be like even things like adaptations are just like flops occasionally, so it's kind of hard to talk about it in a lot of cases. I think especially with video games, I don't know. I think video games are also notoriously bad. Mm-hmm. So
it's kind of similar with the live action one, same like general thing.
Yeah, I don't think we have enough experience with live action. I feel like
no, not at all.
No, so it's like we were talking about the concept of it, but
that was like the more cope part about that episode, where I might say that one, in terms of content, might be worse. just because we're so much less experienced with live action. There's the One Piece live action coming very soon, hopefully this year.
Weren't the initial screenings like really bad? I feel like I saw something about that.
So there was a rumor talked about that, but everything I've heard said that it was false.
I see. And then I think Oda said
so
like if he doesn't like it, they'll delay it for him or whatever.
Yes, Oda made a statement today basically that was like, this is, in my opinion, the last chance for One Piece to truly go global. Because things like the 4Kids dub and stuff kind of held it back compared to like the Naruto's and the Dragon Balls on a global scale. And so it was basically a letter saying like, I believe in the production and everything. They've been really good, but also, I will be doing my part to make sure that it's the best product it can be as well. For whatever that means. That could also just be a pretty statement being made. Because it needs to be made. But I feel somewhat optimistic that it will at least be good by live action standards. Now, how far that goes might be a different question.
Yeah, it's like 8 episodes. Like, even if they're all an hour long or whatever, it's like, how do you make a One Piece? Like, do you start from the beginning?
Yeah.
Or do you, like, make, like, a filler arc in live action? Like,
so, we do actually know this. It is going to be from the beginning, from the start, up to, I believe, the end of the East Blue Saga, I want to say.
Yeah,
is what they've said, which is probably about 100 chapters. It's not the worst pacing.
You cut out all the recap and stuff, maybe you could make it work.
It is 100 chapters. It's not the worst paced thing. Do like 10 chapters an episode, roughly. There's definitely chapters in there that you don't have to have by any means.
Yeah.
I'm just, it's one of those things where One Piece is such a, like, I say this in a nice way, such kind of a goofy,
zany
series. Yeah, exactly. That I wonder how it could possibly translate to live action. And that's where it makes me worry that people could put as much love and attention and care into it, it might just still flop. It's hard to say. I have not seen the product. I'm optimistic that at the very least the due diligence will be done to make it as good as it can be.
Yeah, I feel like a show like that I'm always a little skeptical, but we'll see.
I won't see because I haven't touched any One Piece. PK
yeah,
will see that.
I mean, I don't have any background about like the show, other than the memes, so I can't tell. But maybe the One Piece fans will see. There you go.
If Daniel's first One Piece experience was the live action,
it was the live action. There you go.
Would maybe still be upset, even if it was like total gas, like the greatest thing ever made. I still would probably be like, just read the manga, ass at.
I'm still mad that I would never do that because I'm still mad that Resh watched Elena dubbed. It was a disgrace.
Rest a big dub guy.
He is a big dub guy. There's nothing wrong with that. But when I tell you that you should watch it subbed, you should watch it subbed. Damn it!
Disobeyed.
He did. I showed him one character name from World End, and he said, "Okay, you know what? I'll watch it subbed." there's no chance the dub's getting that right. Oh.
Yeah, that's fair.
Thank you, World End. Old English names. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to turn this into a dub versus sub debate. We have a whole episode on that.
No. We have that already.
We have an episode on that. I just keep, as I'm scrolling through the videos we've done, I keep laughing because I see the laying PK to rest episode, which that was a moment in time for sure. Technically, my year anniversary is not today.
I mean, you were still a part of it for a year.
Yeah.
Even if you missed the week, you were there in spirit,
Yeah.
Technically.
Which honestly, I'm like surprised and kind of proud that over that whole year period of between the three of us, that's really the only time that we haven't been able to have at least one of us there. Or not at least one, but we haven't been able to have all three of us.
Yeah.
There's been cope weeks, of course, but
yeah. It's just hard now because my sleep schedule has kind of changed to be a little more early, so we'll figure it out. We've been managing so far, so
yeah.
Yeah.
There's also the infamous episode that was not posted
We
at
don't
3
talk
p.m. on a
that.
Saturday.
So that was 1, we coped. 2, it was 2 hours long and like broke everything. There was a lot that went wrong in that one single week.
There was quite a
bit. Yeah, but we've got an episode posted every week except for the one time on Spotify where I had to wait until whatever because it broke or whatever again. But yeah, it like double broke.
It's happened.
Yeah, it had.
Yeah,
it was our one hiccup.
What do you think? What do you think? So I mentioned this last week, I guess, when we were discussing stuff for like the anniversary. But like, do you think anything at all related to anime? I should say at all, but like relating to your view on anime or maybe even specific show. Do you think anything has changed significantly over the past year? Because it is.
I've teetered between like becoming Mars in my villain arc and but like I get dragged back. Yeah, I don't know. Angel Next Door actually like really put me through it. I was actually so upset with how badly that was done.
So you're gonna become a manga only, Andy?
Did you see?
I was gonna be a manga light novel guy, but then then Oshinoko's anime was really good. I'm like, okay, I can stay.
Daniel did tell us all that if Oshinoko's anime was bad, that was the last straw. I remember seeing that.
I would. I'm already going to be gone next week, of course. But
I don't know if my overall views on anything have changed, but like obviously there are shows like I think I also mentioned this last week. This podcast has seen my whole evolution with ReZero.
Yeah,
stemming from
got a whole episode on that.
Yeah, used to be a big super hater.
So to me, watching the whole entirety of the rest of it, and then various conversations we've had since then, that would probably be the biggest one because I don't think there's a ton of stuff. Danmachi is something that I picked up over the past year that I thought was absolute trash garbage and dropped after season 2, and then Daniel Mars convinced me to pick it back up and watch season 3, season 4, and then obviously season 4 was phenomenal.
Season 4 was gas. Yeah, it's my biggest video on the channel. Thank you, Danmachi. Very cool. Thank you for being good now, so I could profit off of it.
Thank you for Danmachi for turning things around. So those are probably the 2 biggest ones I could think of because they were 2 things coming into the year that I had low expectations to say like the nicest I can, and coming out of this past year, I now generally like them both pretty well, and am excited for them to continue eventually, probably.
Yeah.
Well, no, probably for ReZero, but
yeah, ReZero
Danmachi.
Very much will. Yeah, Danmachi probably. I would assume we might have to wait a little bit since they seem like they're actually like taking their time with it now. But yeah, all the
side of that,
light novel is gassing it up.
It's hard to think of things that like I started the year liking, and now I kind of dislike. But Jujutsu Kaisen is probably the closest I could get. That a year ago I liked a lot. Had been caught up on the manga, and over the past year, the manga has just done everything it can to lose me, and so. I still wouldn't say I dislike the series, but I think it was something for me that was, potential top 10 contender a year ago, probably. And now it's like, I don't really know where I stand with it.
I think it'll be better animated, but dear God, I look at some of those panels and like, what the fuck am I even reading, dude? I need like a PhD to understand like the power system at this point. Like, I said it yesterday, but I miss when the power system was that guy's a panda and that guy claps and does things. But now it's like I binged the manga to catch back up because I was on like chapter 180 or whatever, and then I'm like, okay, I got spoiled on this big thing. I'm just gonna catch up, and so I did. And when I saw them bring out a full-on chart with it to explain this guy's powers, I'm like, you know what? why am I even here? Why am I reading this? I didn't read the chart. I don't know how his powers work. All I know is that they did what they do, not why they do.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's definitely a very like monkey fun series, and I feel like I stopped having fun. But
yeah, I mean, it seems like it's going to get into something interesting now.
Yeah. Generally, I feel like I've enjoyed the same things that I've always enjoyed over the past year, so I haven't had
nothing's changed.
Same
person.
You know, I was always a sports and idol fan and like shonen and stuff like that. It's not like that's changed in any way, shape, or form.
Actually, you know what has changed? This actually goes back to our prior episode, our worst fan bases tier list. I have certainly grown to hate Demon Slayer more than I ever have. I don't even know why. It's just like been a slow evolution to where we should have put them in the special place in hell tier, or maybe like an A tier. I don't know.
I think my biggest problem with Demon Slayer is that I finished it, and like there's a lot of things I have finished, right? And it just doesn't, to me, stack up as well against a lot of those other things. But then the public image of it is so crazy overhyped.
Like if I can, if it was like JJK doesn't have like that rabid of a fan base. I mean, well, I say that anime Twitter has probably been like the biggest thing that makes me hate shonen more than anything. It's just I hate I don't know, it's just anime Twitter, dude. I hate anime Twitter. Fuck anime Twitter. All of them watch like especially the fucking anime specific accounts that always like fight each other. They're like, yeah, One Piece is mid, and then like a One Piece account will clap back in the quote tweets with like some
One Piece account number 732.5. Yeah, I got
like, how the fuck are there so many of you? Like, I don't know. Not that there's anything wrong with really liking a series, but Jesus Christ, when you're like, it's just always like the worst argument. It's all the things I hate about arguing with people about things rolled into shonen anime, which is like a lot of things that I hate about anime. So it's a big combination. It all culminates in the fucking Demon Slayer Twitter accounts.
My problem is like I enjoy the Demon Slayer source material generally. I don't think it's like the greatest thing I've ever read, but I don't dislike it, and that's like the problem I have with really getting mad at Demon Slayer. Like I think you have at this point, because the fans annoy the shit out of me, but then I'm like, I don't know, I like the series.
I read the manga and I didn't dislike it. I didn't think it was very good. Like I've stated before, I'm not a big fan of the art, especially like the manga. Not that like it was bad. Like it's certainly better than anything I could fucking do. But I never felt attached, and then by the end, I wasn't a big fan of the ending. Apparently, it was rushed because like family circumstances, or allegedly, which is unfortunate. Not that I think it mattered too much. I'm going to be completely honest, because Demon Slayer is a lot of the same thing generally. Like you have the beginning part, which is like differentiated enough, I guess, but then you get to like, okay, we're gonna go to this place. There's gonna be this really strong demon, and then we're gonna have like, we have the three musketeers or whatever, Dumb and Dumber. We got to go in and fight this demon, and there's going to be a really strong demon slayer who joins them, and it's just that for like every arc. It's just kind of the same thing.
We get a carry. The carry gets incapacitated in some way by the end of the arc, and we're a little stronger.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just so goofy.
The one thing I was most disappointed about with Demon Slayer and I won't say exactly what happens because this is manga spoilers, but the way it ended was not bad, but I felt like there was a potential to have like a really cool and interesting end, with some of the stuff they did. And Daniel and I can maybe talk about this later on our own. I won't say on the podcast, but there was something about the way that it ended that I thought could have been really cool.
Yeah, I would have liked the villain to be not like bad guy who does bad guy things or whatever. He had like
generic.
he was so generic, and then like his backstory literally didn't exist. He's like the one demon in Demon Slayer doesn't have a backstory.
Oh,
It's like, okay,
Yep.
it's like, oh, this is the strongest demon. We're gonna learn his backstory. It's like flashback that like tells you nothing, and it's like, oh, fuck. I don't know.
yeah. I think I feel like over the past I guess like in media in general, I feel like I need a good villain with like a good backstory for like.
I do agree with this. I think if the villain,
I think it's so much better if the villain is like, if you feel compelled to like hate the villain, or like, you know, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a good like like it doesn't have to be some morally gray character. It can be like an absolute shitbag villain. But if it feels like the character at least has some depth to it, I'm in.
Yeah, I think I mentioned before, but like in Persona 5, I know it's like, lol, it's a Persona reference. Okay, but whatever. Like that game, I feel like that game does a really good job of like making you hate the villains. Not anime, not, you know, not technically, but you know, not a TV show, not that kind of thing. But it's a video game, it's different. But I think that game does a really, really good job of making you hate like the villains, and I think that's like, that gets you invested. I think it. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely like better like villains are hard to write. Like, there's only so many morally gray villains you can write, yeah. And then it's like, I don't know, but because a lot of the time, you know, it's some of like the most generic villains kind of like reflect real life. Like, oh, this one's greedy. Who could have guessed? But it's like a lot of people are just kind of like that, so it makes sense. It's and like, it's difficult to write a morally gray villain because they're the villain. You know, they're the bad guy doing the bad things that you want to stop or whatever. And it's not easy to come up with many variations of that because there's only so many. There's plenty of ways to like write a character, but there's only so many ways to write a character who teeters on like the edge of that moral dilemma. Like you have Thanos, just like, yeah, I want to make things better for everyone because there's too many. We have a population issue. It's like, oh great, so you're going to use the Infinity Gauntlet to make more resources, right? And it's like, nope, I'm going to kill half of everyone, even though that would like you know, exponential growth or whatever. That would, granted, it destroys civilizations, especially depending on who gets poofed. But I don't know. There's definitely better ways to go about it.
Yeah, it doesn't actually solve the issue. It just like
delays it.
Delays it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Infinite power, and you came up with like the most cope idea that also made everyone hate you.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I agree with that. And especially nowadays, there have been so many stories, both in the anime realm and outside of the anime realm, that have done so many different characters that it's hard. Daniel says this a lot, but there is no real original idea anymore. Whoa. For the most part.
Very deep.
I mean, yeah, so, there absolutely is no. There's no.
Every idea has been thought by another human before. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I said this in my. I had a Hell's Paradise video. That shit flopped hard. I'll never make another shonen video ever again. Obviously, they don't care about the writing of their show anyway. But I praised the setting of all things. You know, there's like 3 core parts to the story, right? You have the characters, you have the plot, and you have the setting. And setting kind of gets dogged on a little bit because, you know, it doesn't really like whenever everyone likes a show, they're typically going to be like, oh, I like these characters, or like, oh, the plot's interesting. Rarely do you get like, oh, it's just kind of like set in a cool place. And I mentioned Demon Slayer kind of doing the same thing over and over again, but a lot of shonen kind of follow the exact same formula. I said this in my Hell's Paradise video too. I'm basically just bringing the Hell's Paradise video over here. No one, but it's kind of like all the modern shonen kind of follow the same plot structure, even if like they all grow into their own identities, which everything will do because you have different characters, even if the plot is generally the same, and you have like different worlds or whatever. But like My Hero, heroes versus villains in the most like classic standard way, right? Cool. But then you have Demon Slayer. It's basically the same thing, except this time instead of superheroes and villains, you have demons and demon slayers. And Chainsaw Man, you have devil hunters and devils. And JJK, you have sorcerers and curses. And it's kind of like the same thing. And they're all set in Japan. They're all kind of the same starting. But Hell's Paradise is very much so different, where it's just, we're gonna put criminals on an island and they have to go find this thing, and there's only one of it, allegedly. And so obviously,
so they say.
Yeah, and whoever gets the thing gets a pardon, like an official pardon. So they no longer get executed. And so you just have death row on this island. Obviously, they're going to fucking kill each other for it. So and the island is a pretty like interesting, colorful place, kind of like contrast the whole like bloody death thing. It's a cool, different idea than the typical shonen.
Mm-hmm.
Where did we even start with this? Why did I go on this tangent?
We were talking about there are no original ideas.
Yeah, no original ideas. But yeah, it's like the setting kind of like can definitely give you something more to play with. Kind of like what we talked about last week when we read the shitty Oshinoko article or whatever, where just even like the backdrop of like rising through the entertainment industry as a part of this like revenge story is it's how you make it different, because there are no original. Everything's been done. Every plot structure exists. It's just how are you going to put the spin on it so that people are interested in what you're doing.
Yeah, I still feel like there's got to be some original idea. There's got to be something that nobody has thought of ever.
Think about this, Svet. I want you to let me use this as an example. Think of a color that doesn't exist.
Oh, I've already thought of one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want you to imagine a color that doesn't.
I want you to get demonetized, so
a color that doesn't exist. Big color is gonna come after me if you say it.
Yeah. 1984 for real.
But no, it's just kind of like there are ideas that like anime has never seen before, right?
Yeah, that's just like maybe it's like a culture thing they haven't tried.
They probably still exist somewhere. There's billions.
Even outside of, outside of anime, even like just every story in any medium that you can think of, the core idea of that story has been done. Even if because obviously Oshinoko is probably like it's definitely the first to do whatever the fuck it did like throughout that first episode. So obviously it's different.
What's funny is like it is, but it isn't.
Yeah, like at its core, it is something that has been done, but it hasn't been done because of the spin that is put on it, and that's what I'm getting at.
Like there is a difference between the Oshinoko first episode and some of the examples I can think of that are similar, but even then, it's like I can think of examples that like also did that path line, and so that's kind of just the point with it. Is like it can still be good. Without being a quote original idea, but it's also the idea is just that nowadays
human history has been going on long enough. Yeah. Most stories have been done.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say something.
No, I think
you were talking about setting, and I forgot.
I guess to answer my own question or whatever, I would say the biggest thing that's changed for me. I feel like we've talked about this before, just in in the context of a few different topics. But I feel like I hate anime tropes a lot more now. The more I get exposed to them, I get their purpose sometimes, but I don't know. I think I was used to be very immune to them. Like I didn't care, or I would think it was cute or whatever. But now I don't know.
Now you're like, oh, it's
oh my gosh, like characters trying to protect each other. It's like, oh my god, it's so freaking corny and cheesy, and it's just ugh, I hate it.
I have probably developed enough at an immune. It depends if it's on the extreme
maybe
end.
Maybe I'll loop back. Who knows?
If it's on the extreme end, then obviously I'll find a character annoying. If it's there's the tsundere dilemma, right? There's a fine line between annoying,
I guess,
and just the right amount. Because you don't want too little, because otherwise it's barely not even really a part of their personality, but you definitely don't want too much, because then it becomes like a domestic abuse situation or whatever that we're just ignoring for comedy purposes. But I don't know, it depends. There's an anime this season actually that it's difficult, right? Because this character's annoying as fuck, but they don't do anything wrong technically. It's called My Clueless First Friend, and kind of the idea of the story is there's this. I'll link the thing so you can see the characters. There's a girl who's kind of gloomy looking.
This season, right?
Yeah, it's this season. Boom. There you go. So there's a girl who's like kind of gloomy looking or whatever, and she just gets bullied. Anime bully moment. Because I don't know. Even though character that shouldn't get bullied gets bullied or whatever, and they call her Grim Reaper because she's, I don't know, looks gloomy or whatever. And so this new kid comes in. He's I don't know. He's so fucking annoying. I hate him so much. But he's like also like the only person who doesn't bully her. But it's like he's like part Shunibu, I guess. And so he leans in. He's like, "Oh, she curses people. That's so fucking cool. I want to be her friend." But he's like really he's very expressive, eccentric. He's a very eccentric person, and I find that very annoying. But he's not a bad person, right? And so that's my moral dilemma with this character. Is I fucking hate the way he acts, but I can't like hate him, because he's not a bad person. Just a very annoying person.
I mean, that's just like the difference between a good character and a character that, or like, you know, good bad character versus character you just don't like. Like, me and Rash have been watching all the D4DJ stuff because it was about time for a rewatch for me and / finishing the second season. He had never seen any of it, and there's one character that we both have at the bottom of our lists. Because neither of us particularly like her, but some of the other people in our friend group like really like her, and they continuously get very defensive of us not liking her, partially because Resh baits them as he does. But to me, it's like I don't dislike the character at all. I think, you know, she's written well. She's just not my type of character compared to like the rest of the 30 girl cast.
Yeah. Okay.
Whereas there are characters that I dislike that I also would be like, yeah, they're written like shit.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. I just I think more than like the tsundere stuff, it's just like it's just like the behaviors of some characters in like romantic relationship. It's like tsundere is like whatever, but like I don't know. There's just some that are just like I cannot help but roll my eyes.
See,
but hey, maybe I'll become immune.
This is why you watch harem, so there's multiple people to choose from that you can like, and you choose one, and then you're like you're justified in hating everyone else because you're trying to go for the W.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. There will be one that you will like a decent amount, and then when you hate all the rest, you just get to be on a side, and it's fun.
And then you can just really hate everybody else. Okay, sure, yeah.
Like,
and then you can be really sad when your favorite loses to the obviously like character that was picked out from the beginning, telegraphed to you, everything. Yeah. Definitely not subtweeting a specific show right now. Anyway.
Yeah, that's kind of like where I am with the Cafe Terrace or whatever. Because at the beginning, I was kind of in a spat moment, like, damn, all these characters are so fucking annoying. They all have like, they're all very they all fall into their tropes really hard. But then over like the past few episodes, they've been like normal people, except for like one of them who's still like kind of in her trope phase. But just one of those things, you know, like write it out, and then you can make your choose your favorite way, like put them in order. You know, the classic.
I do love a good put all of them in order and have just a list or a tier list of 50 characters.
How mad will I be when I don't win? That's
like one of the best parts of watching these like idol and like music girl animes and stuff like that is the fact that it's always a cast of just female characters. There's always like 20 to 30 of them, and you get to just take a tier list at the end of the show and just be like, all right, that's my favorite, that's my second favorite, third favorite, all the way down.
Just compare with people and see who's wrong.
Yep.
About their opinion. Yeah. Eventually I'll have all the Love Lives in order in a big old tier list, which could end the podcast theoretically.
It could. The end of the podcast is on the table with Daniel.
So I have to watch Love Live now. That's the next step.
No, because if you watch Love Live and do the thing that'll end the podcast, Daniel will be much more upset than he watches it in the podcast.
If I end the podcast on my own volition, that's just how it is. But if you randomly watch all of the Love Lives, there are better things to watch out there, Spay. You will.
Maybe I'll stick to listening on Spotify. Stuff like that.
You wouldn't get through the first Love Live. You wouldn't get through the original Love Live.
I think I would like it. So.
You don't like tropes, your bitch ass not getting through that.
Yeah, that's true. Over. That's true, actually. Yeah.
He would hate OG.
I
think I tried watching the
for what it's worth, I think
Bang
OG is my least favorite.
I think I watched the Bang Dream Girls, like not anime, it's like the shorts or whatever. I could handle it.
Like the
Pico?
Yeah, Pico.
It should be whatever. Like I forgot what it was. It was like years ago.
You watched Pico, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like it. So.
Fun. Pico's fun, but like, especially for Bandori's little TV short, you have to know the characters. Otherwise, half the gimmicks don't make any sense.
Yeah, I definitely didn't watch Niji on animation, even though I haven't watched Niji Kisaki.
Definitely didn't watch Niji on animation with us randomly in a call before the ReZero announcement.
Mars and PK getting hyped over like a snake named Sasuke, and like, what the fuck is happening?
Amen. That truly was one of the moments in time.
Yeah, but hopefully the podcast doesn't end. If I have to like consult my lawyers if she ends up being best girl about like how to proceed.
Yeah. I was gonna say it would be honestly really funny if she did end up being your best girl, and then I had to have the moment of like, well, shit, how do I deal with this dude? Am I a man of my word?
Does PK lead the podcast? Do we like steal Chimp from his podcast?
Yeah. But no, it's the Love Lives are fun, but I think you have to already be into idols and music and that type of stuff to enjoy them.
Yeah, I just listen to the songs on YouTube, like the well, I mean, I guess it's not Love Live, but like the Bang Dream Girls, like the covers and stuff like that. I have a few of those on Spotify and stuff, so I'll stick with that for now.
You could always pick up the new Pokemon instead.
Oh,
the new Pokemon so good.
Is it?
It's pretty fun.
Oh, I'm scared of them all. I'll finish Attack on Titan first, and then we'll see. But
yeah. Definitely finish Attack on Titan. As much as I definitely did not ever really get fully on the Attack on Titan train, it is very good.
It's just so good. There's like too much stuff going on in every episode. It's like, oh, it's nice. It's nice. Yeah. I'm excited.
I have my opinions about the ending of Attack on Titan, but we'll save that. We'll get there when we get there. Yeah, we'll get there when we get there. We'll have the Attack on Titan episode where I rant about the ending. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Once Spatula is fully caught up on Attack on Titan, we'll get our
mega episode or whatever.
Yeah, it'll be fall 2023 is when the last episode, the Attack on Titan final season, the final edition special episode part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think another thing that's changed for me, I think in terms of I guess Kaguya kind of changed my opinion on this, or maybe it was like something I realized. Maybe not that maybe I always valued it, but like I feel like characters, like for me, I feel like I have to really, really like the characters to like the show. I've always said that like a plot is the most important thing, but I've actually changed my mind. I feel like if I don't like the characters, even if the plot is compelling, it becomes very hard. I mean, obviously your enjoyment of an anime is going to be based on a variety of factors, but at least for me, like I feel like if the characters are likable, I'm like a lot more likely to keep watching and enjoy the show.
That's why characters are the most important thing you can have within your show.
I also think characters are just the biggest like break in a show, as in like you can have a subpar world or setting, and if you have great characters, it's fine.
Yeah,
you can have no plot, quite literally, and if you have cute girls, I'm still signing up for it. But if
who's watching Turkey with me, bullied, I would never watch a fucking bullied anime in my life, but just because it's gonna be a cute girls do cute things, it's just a sell because you're gonna like it's gonna be comfy.
Yeah, it's gonna be comfy. It's gonna be nice. But if you don't like the characters, it's just that's going to be the majority of what's on screen are the characters, realistically.
Yeah. makes up a lot of the dialogue and stuff like that. So yeah, can't really play around.
That's the reason although the the mid animes that have good light novels end up on my shelf, because I'll like the characters maybe, or their interact, like that's how the Detective is already got onto my shelf, because I like the character interactions, but everything else is dog shit. And then I read the novel. I read the first novel anyway. I'll get to the other ones at some point, like all the others that haven't been touched on my shelf for years, but or not years, maybe actually fuck, has it been years? How long the Detective might have been years. Hold on, when did that shit come out?
I feel like it's been at least a year.
2 years. 2 years soon. 2 years. Yeah. July 4th will be the 2 years since that started. But yeah, I mean, if the character interactions with that were not good, I would have never thought of this ever again. Man, that was dog shit, and I would have moved on with my life. Same thing with Spy Classroom. I don't think Spy Classroom was as bad as people made it out to be. I can see why people dropped it or whatever. And I'm probably gonna make a video on my main channel about it eventually, because of once I need to like read the first novel so I can get a proper grasp on what I'm trying to talk about. But there's a reason they had to do the anime the way they did, which is unfortunate because that's what like killed it. But yeah.
It's fun because it was also obviously world building is a big thing for me too with this series, but Grimgar is something that I've read and recommend to people a decent amount to read. That I think kind of had a subpar anime, but had good characters and a good world that still managed to get me to read it.
Yeah, it's something I've been interested in for a while. It's like one of those things where people are like, oh, it's like a really realistic isekai, but they hate everyone in it or something like that.
That is somewhat accurate. It is. So I think we've talked about this before. I think especially because you liked season 4 of Danmachi, you will enjoy the Grimgar light novel.
Yeah, it's gonna be something I read. I'll probably watch it first and then I'll read it, just so I can continue the train of watching mid anime with good light novels. But I like fantasy, so I'll watch it at some point.
It's good. I think the one problem that Grimgar light novels had for me when I would read them is there would be 2 or 3 fire novels in a row, and then 2 or 3 like mid novels in a row, and it felt like it would keep doing that cycle. It was funny because I went to look up if it was still releasing like a year ago or so, and I happened to see a Reddit post that was like, "Oh, Grimgar's back, boys," and I was like, "Oh, there we go. It's going back on the good cycle again."
The classic. Yeah, I can like ReZero is kind of like the web novels in a way, kind of doing that, right? So I mean, the thing with ReZero is obviously every arc is very long. It's not like it's not like a shonen arc that's gonna end in like 30 chapters or whatever. It is this shit's gonna take like 5-6 novels. I talked about it in one of the episodes, I don't remember which, but arc 7 has been so big that it had to get split into 2 arcs. Which right now the community is a little split on it. I don't think anyone's calling it bad, but after arc 6 was what I think currently anyway is the peak of ReZero. And so then when you go into something that like isn't as fire right after that, and especially when it's very long, not everyone's gonna be on board, because usually like with the ReZero, so in the web novel all the chapters have names, and every now and then we'll get a chapter that is named after a character, and typically everyone's like, oh, it's time for peak fiction. This is a character named chapter. It's, grab your popcorn. It's time. This is going to be fire. Arc 8 is named, the entire arc is named after a character, and you just don't see as many people getting hyped for it. It's like, fuck, dude, we have to split this into 2 arcs now. Because the author is very bad at estimating. He thought everything that was in novel 33, he thought was going to be in novel 32. So that's just kind of where we are right now.
That's funny. Yeah. Well, especially with longer stuff like that, it makes sense too, because it's like climaxes are just inherently going to be more exciting than like intros, or at least like the middle sections to a lot of like story arcs. Just in anything. This isn't like anime exclusive even. It's just the way that stories work. There are cool things that can happen in intro arcs and in the middle of them, but just inherently if the story is written well, the climax should be the most exciting point of the story. So with something long like a Re:Zero, you might go a year, 2 years, 3 years in between big climax moments.
Not quite. Well, maybe like 2 years. It's maybe like 3 novels a year, I want to say, and usually it takes like 5 to get through an arc. Granted, let me see how long fucking arc 7 has been. I think I want to say, so did it start with novel 26? It started with novel 26, and novel 33 was the end of arc 7, which had to get split. So I think this is not arc 7's the longest running arc now, beating out arc 4 by like a novel, because it got forced into, even after getting forced into splitting, it's still beating it. So it's kind of wild seeing that unfold, like 7 novels basically for one arc that didn't even get completed technically. It's a lot.
I do want to get into reading more light novels, but
it's a commitment. It's like it's a subscription service at this point.
Subscription service might be a good way to put it. Yeah.
Like the idea is great, and I love reading, but it's also like so hard to me to think I'm gonna sit down and read a couple chapters of this light novel compared to like, oh, I'm just gonna turn on the newest episode of Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
Even though I might spend the same amount of time watching like half a season of Pokemon as I would reading an entire novel of a series that I want, it's just convincing myself to do it feels so much more difficult.
My issue is that I like to read light novels. Are not very long. They're like 200 pages usually, somewhere around that ballpark. Maybe like Re:Zeros are a little longer. It also depends on like how big the book is, like, and if they like make it taller or shorter type of thing. I like to sit down and I like to read them in one go. Right? I'm a speed reader. At my core, I read fast. I still retain the information, thankfully. But it's a commitment. When I sit down with the book, that shit's a commitment. I'm not getting up for the next like couple hours of reading, and so
I agree with this. At least that's what I want to do. Is like just sit down and get a good chunk of it.
Yeah, that's what I do. Haha. Anyway, but yeah, I'll like get my bed all comfy. I'll turn on my more dim lamp on the bedside, and then I'll get in the book, get all nice and not with tea. I would never. I'm not getting liquids anywhere near the paper. But I'll cozy up, blanket on, just fucking sit in bed, boom, read for a couple hours, and then I'm like, well, there we go. Like when I got the Tomozaki series, because I already watched the anime, so I just like, all right, you know what, I'm gonna binge these like first 3 novels just so I can get through everything. And so for that day, I had the 3 novels beside me. I sat down, all right, fuck it, my day, it's gonna be gone, but I'm gonna get all these done. Now I'm 2 novels behind. I need to catch back up to that.
Yeah.
This is like a breaking point to it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think Re:Zero is probably one that I'd really like to read someday. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned
Re:Zero is it's a commitment.
Yeah, I know, it's a commitment and a half.
Especially the novel side of things. There's just I complained about it before. This motherfucker will literally put lore in anything but the main series, like novels or whatever. Isekai Quartet movie has a character that is talked about heavily in Re:Zero lore. Our first fucking introduction to him is through Isekai Quartet's movie. The only way to get one of the... Well, you can read the web novel version of it for free, but there's a novel version of one of the if routes. The only way to get that is to get like the entirety of Re:Zero Season 2's like Blu-ray. That was like a limited time thing. That was the only way. It still is. I mean, you could probably buy it off people now.
You could definitely get it somehow, but in official means.
In official means, the only way to do it was to buy the entire Blu-ray set for Season 2 of Re:Zero in Japan, and you would get the Greed If novel, the novel version of it, which is probably like the more official than like, you know, the web novel, which is like, it's not like the end of the world, but that stuff does like contain lore and stuff that's interesting to the world. Which like Witch Cult Translations, who does like the web novel to English stuff, they have all that shit compiled, but there's so fucking much of it. There's so many side stories, and the side stories become like literally required to understand the main story, and it's like, oh my god, it's a lot. It's a lot to, especially with how long it is. It's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, I think other than that, I do want to get into manga too. I don't know. I'm just trying to stick with anime for now and see what happens. But
manga for me is so much easier because
it is for sure. In my experience too, it's just like
pictures.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just never committed to it. I guess.
Even though it's like obviously you're reading at the same speed, it feels faster to go through like 40 chapters of a manga compared to like a novel. That's probably not exactly the same length, but you get what I'm saying. It feels so much quicker to like blast
yeah,
through
it does.
and it almost is like gamified in the way you think about it, because it's like, oh shit, I'm like 50 chapters deep, whereas if I'm reading a light novel, I might be like, oh, I still haven't finished the first chapter that I started on.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I went through the Angel Next Door light novel. I feel like I went through chapters very quickly, but I don't know. Yeah, I guess it depends.
Because it's not like there's not like you have to like double take on like make sure you're like, oh, did that just happen? Did I just understand that? It's like you just kind of go through. It's like, that's cute, and you keep going with your life.
It's very easy reading. Nothing too deep.
Easy read. Like the vocabulary isn't very difficult in any capacity. Yeah, I
didn't have to break out the dictionary for this one.
There's no drama or anything. Just you coast on through the. I still have to read novel 5. I've had that sitting on the shelf for a while, but I also like. I always fall behind on my anime, which is always a problem because then I have to like binge shows that I really don't like. Case in point, I was complaining about the the Kizuno no Alala or whatever the fuck, however the fuck you fucking pronounce that second word there. But Kizuno, no, this shit's ass. I do with PK. I want you to guess the score percentage. What do you think it is from 0 to 100%? What do you think the average score is?
60.
48.
Okay, that's
this shit
low.
Is ass so bad. I hate it so much. I wonder what the my anime list is. I feel like anything like below a 6 on Mel is like typically anything you want to stay away. Typically something you want to stay away from. Let's see. It has a 5.28 on Mel, so
great.
They are far more kind than I am. And only 1,000 people have scored it too. So like I could put in my like my 1, and that shit would just fucking tank. But I'm not going to do that because I don't use Mel anymore. But and that's mean. I don't think I'll give it a 1. Well, I might. We'll see how it goes. This shit's pretty ass. Like, it's not like gamers ass where it's just like I hate everyone and everything. But it's like just the most generic. Take a generic idol anime and make it even more generic than you ever could have guessed, and then like literally don't have a plot at all. So I have nothing to get invested into. And make all the characters just suck, so I don't have any characters to get invested into. It's just tough. It's a rough watch. I had to go through 4 episodes that I was behind on, and I hated every moment of it. And the music's not good either, so that's also a big L.
Yeah, that was the big thing when I was talking to Daniel about it. Was for me, sometimes those animes are just made or break by if I like the music. But I have heard that from a lot of sources that the music is not good in it. And maybe one day I'll listen to it myself and confirm whether the music's good or not. But
there are no redeeming qualities.
It definitely something I didn't feel like I had an interest in watching, despite the fact that I like all the music in idol anime and stuff like that. And I pretty much just took the stance of, well, if the music's good, it'll find its way to me somehow. And then if the music sells me, I'll watch it afterwards.
Yeah, it's just the wild thing is it's Wit Studio is one of the studios on this. I don't think they were the main one. I'm guessing the Signal MD studio was the main culprit here of this dog shit. Same studio as MMO Junkie, I guess, is probably the most recognizable thing they've done. Yeah, they did They did Pokemon Generations. You could probably say that, I would assume. But yeah, no, this shit. They did Fate. Cool.
Those are all good things you're mentioning, to be honest.
Yeah, well, they didn't try too hard with this one.
Fair.
They look like they're on it. They've been on a bit of a stinker run. They had a 58% to 63. I was one at a 74. It was a movie though. Then they made Platinum End. That had a 59. I had a 56 movie. It was a music movie, an hour and a half. I was like a musical maybe. I don't know. Then this year they've had a 62% and a 48%. So they're kind of goofing right now.
A little bit.
Actually, they fuck, dude. The studio sucks ass. If you just look at the scores.
The hell?
Even the Fate. What's it called? Is not very high.
What Fate?
It's Fate Grand Order Camelot Wandering Agatarum or whatever.
Oh, it's that studio.
Yeah.
So the Camelot movies were okay, but the specific Camelot movie that they did was the first Camelot movie, which is, to put it nicely, just significantly worse than.
I see.
But they're still making stuff, and despite the poor reviews,
they're actually in regards to Camelot, there actually are posts that you could find somewhere with like the animation differences for certain characters and stuff between their animation and the other studio that did it, which I think was Production IG, did the second movie.
Yeah, Production IG seemed to be a producer in the first one, but they were like the animation studio.
Yeah, exactly.
They did the sequel. Yeah, I just looked at it.
Yep.
All right.
There it is. But there's like clear animation differences for the characters between one of the movies versus the other. So I am familiar with this studio now.
Yeah, the studio is the highest thing they've produced is 73%, and that was MMO Junkie, which I didn't particularly like that much.
I liked it, but it wasn't for like the animation or anything. I just enjoyed. Like I had fun.
It wasn't bad or anything. It wasn't like 74% actually is the highest they've done. It's this movie that came out in 2021. I don't know what the fuck it is though. Words ball up like soda pop. I do know what that is. Never mind. I don't know if it's like actually good or not. It's got a 74. It's not terrible, but
74 is below average according to my ratings. But then again, my ratings.
I mean, it's like something I would look at and be like, yeah, it's probably fine. I feel like anything that's like at least a 7 or above, like if I watch it, there's a chance that I might think it's like really good in comparison to other people. It's kind of like what happened with like World End. I have it at 10. It's probably like a 75 on here, I would assume. Yep, 75. All right. And then like Elena, people hate it. Elena is definitely a big swing and a miss with some people because they hate Elena. She's a little narcissistic, but I think it's cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed.
Only in the dub version.
No, she's such an asshole. Which is like typically I don't like characters who are like that, but she's like a realistic asshole. Like, you know the one meme where it's the manager texting the dude, it's like, oh hey, we're kind of like short staffed. Like, damn, that's crazy. That's kind of like her whole personality. When she's not like adverse to helping people, but like if it's something that she doesn't feel like in one of the episodes, this person I won't go into the details to like not spoil anything, but this person's like trying to do something pretty dangerous. I'm like, oh hey, can you help me? It's like, no, I'm good. Good luck though.
Have fun.
It's like, yeah, I'll watch.
Not my problem.
I'll watch. Good luck. Yeah, she's not gonna fuck.
I feel that on a spiritual level.
She does have a price though, I guess. That's she will do things for money. I don't know. She's a base character. It's like I said. There's like a fine line with characters and their personalities. She's just the right amount of total asshole. Yeah, that's enough of that rant.
I'm trying to think of like what else has gone over the past year. I can't think of anything just because those two things are like the things that stuck out in my mind. Are there any things you guys are looking forward to in anime in the upcoming year as a whole? Maybe not the next season. Well, it could be the next season, but like any sort of developments that you hope to see, even if they're pipe dreams.
Fate Stay Fake is coming out in the summer, so I'm really excited about
Big Fate guy.
I just want Bocchi the Rock season 2 to get announced, honestly.
Ooh, that'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I think at this point, a lot of the things I'd be most excited for are probably announcements.
Yeah. Like, Bocchi the Rock had a special event in April, and everyone's like, oh yeah, we're getting season 2 at this shit. Let's fucking go. So the event happens, and they have like I think they performed a new song maybe, but then they were like, all right guys, we're gonna have another event next month. We didn't get the season 2. It's like, all right, and now the copium is switched. All right guys, the May event, that's gonna be our season 2. That's gonna be it. Which I fucking hope we're gonna get a season 2 eventually. It's just a matter of when.
There's also, I'm really excited for Hibike Euphonium, which is gonna have new content.
Oh yeah, it's coming back. Yeah.
Oh, sometime around a year from now. We don't have confirmed dates or anything on that, I don't believe, but there should be more Hibike coming soon, and that's gonna be fun because we really haven't seen a lot of Hibike content for a long time. There is.
Yeah, because KyoAni had the unfortunate situation.
2019. Yeah, there was all of that happened, but movie was 2019. There's gonna be another like OVA-ish. I don't know if it's a longer OVA or what exactly it is. I think there's more information about that now. But pretty soon, like end of summertime, there should be another OVA thing that's coming out, and then sometime 2024 we should see what I think is season 3, which will be fun.
Yes, maybe we'll get some cool announcements at AX that we can hype over.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, maybe they'll leak something.
I hope so. I know that like the majority of us being at AX is going to be fun just to be at a convention and be like around all that stuff and everything. Like the vibes and hanging out with each other is going to be the main fun part, but I also hope there's some cool like announcements or like things that we see and stuff like that.
Yes, I'd like my one and only trip to LA in my life to not suck ass. I bet I'm gonna hate the city. I can guarantee that, but I want the event at least to be memorable in some capacity.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like I think we'll have fun as a group, obviously, but I do want there to also be like pog shit that we see. It could be like, I bring up Fate, obviously. Is going to be having a premiere in LA that may or may not be related to AX. We don't have that information. I'm coping and hoping that it'll happen at AX and I'll get to go. But that would be an example. Like, if I just happened to be in LA when that's premiering and went to go, that would be the type of thing that would like really make the trip for me, aside from just hanging out with the boys.
My trip will be good enough if the plane doesn't crash and I don't get mugged.
Oh my god, here we go again.
You can't quell my irrational fears.
That's fine. I feel that.
Maybe one of the guests.
That's like, I mean, they're rational. Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
Maybe one of the guests we have coming up can quell my fears eventually.
Okay.
Shout out to season 2 of Gochuucast. Gonna go hard.
Shout out season 2.
We're cooking right now. I have to I'm like thawing the turkey. That's kind of like the stage we're in right now. But it's in the works. It's in the works.
Okay.
I have some other thing. I don't know. I hate sending emails. I hate sending emails. It's another irrational fear.
I do agree with that.
Sure.
I put together the theme like, do I sound do I sound all right? Am I being?
Do I sound like a real person?
Do I? Yeah. Is this going to come across as a bot? Do they even read these? But thankfully, this current dish I'm cooking has been very nice, which I expected from their from having watched their content. But who knows? Well, we'll see if I can cook even. I don't know. We'll see.
See what we can cook up in season 2.
Maybe the VTuber episode finally happens. I don't know. The hardest part of it, I have to find one that I don't hate, and then they also have to be like small enough for me to.
Do you hate 90% of them or what?
It's not that I hate them. It's that like, maybe because like they like play up their character, right? And so it kind of like becomes an anime thing. It's like, all right, which of these in this group do I? Or like it'll probably have to be like an indie VTuber or whatever, or like a really small agency that like, oh, this really small podcast wants to get them on good enough for promotion, I guess. But yeah, no, I have to find someone I like, and they have to be within emailable range, size wise, and then it's just it's gonna be rough probably to get one of those going. But because we talked about before, I don't want to get someone on that I don't find entertaining or whatever.
Yeah. Because there's not really a point to it to me. Because at the end of the day, like, obviously we want this to grow, but also we're just kind of here having fun at the same time.
Yeah, I'm not like staking my life on this or anything. I don't need to like go balls to the wall.
I feel like the point where we start making decisions. Yeah, I feel like the point where we start making decisions that are only like business, like to grow type of decisions, is the point where this would become a lot less fun. Maybe not like at first, but eventually it would.
Yeah, I feel that. I agree.
But yeah, we'll have some fun things in our quote season 2. I know we've been saying also that we want to have the format be more open from here on out, which will probably lead to some fun conversations.
It could surely lead
to be a lot more off the wall.
There's plenty of things to discover out there. Like we found the Christian anime site or whatever. That was fun.
That was insane.
Yeah, exactly. Like things that we weren't expecting to happen, that just from here on out might happen.
Yeah, the journalism side of it is always a little bit weird, even when it comes to like other things like video games and stuff like that. But especially for anime, I'm sure there's probably some weird sites out there.
You get into like the really niche side of things, like the anime feminist, the anime Christian stuff. Like it's all very intriguing to see other communities in their little bubble or whatever. Now, granted, on my phone, there's like a whole like Google articles like section. I turned that shit off because it's really annoying because I kept swiping into it by accident. But my internet page or whatever still has it. So anytime I go to the default Google page, there'll be articles there maybe. Now it's a matter of which one will make me click. But the answer is probably not many of them. I don't want to taint my search history with shitty articles.
Most of my articles are just relating to the Mega Man games that came out on Switch recently.
That's fine. I won't leak your search history to anybody. I promise, Daniel.
Yeah. How are you gonna get a hold of my my search history?
Don't worry about that. I just know nobody else will get to see it except for me. So
yes,
I'm a ways. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to get a chance now because I'm ending the episode. Thank you all for coming to the anniversary episode here of the Gochuucast. I want to say a big thank you not only to the audience for whoever might have stuck with us for 52 weeks for some reason, but I would also like to thank PK and Spat for humoring me for 52 weeks. We don't gain anything from this.
It's crazy
for us, where it started off as a bit of a joke for Daniel that just kind of evolved into this is something I want to do, and then Spat and I just kind of joined in because we were like, oh, it sounds fun, and it's been really fun.
Yeah, shout out to Chimpack for making the joke like every week until I actually felt maybe we could actually do this. Unofficial fourth member, I guess he's off doing his own thing now. But maybe we'll bring on Chimpack one day. Maybe that's cooking in season 2.
Episode.
The revenge episode.
I hope for the Chimpack.
We'll see. I'll make Spat cook that one. Yeah, I don't know. I got hosting duties, recording duties, editing, even though I don't really edit these days. Maybe season 2 is the return of the door opening on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because that was.
We not have the door opening anymore.
It was lost to time, and I haven't remade it since.
I hadn't even I've seen obviously the videos, but I hadn't even thought about the fact that the door wasn't opening until you just mentioned it.
It was lost with the tragedy of the 2-hour Crunchyroll voted episode. That whole thing was a fucking disaster for B on the production side. Yeah, but we lost that, so I have to remake it at some point. I just need to make it its own video file, so if something happens to the project file, it doesn't die along with that. But yeah, it was very unfortunate what happened there. But anyway, that is the end of the episode. If you'd like to listen to us on audio-only platforms, if you're doing this from YouTube, go to the link down below. Allegedly, we'll link to our Spotify for Podcasters page. It's still the anchor link, but I don't know. I don't know how long it's going to redirect. I'll have to change it at some point. But if you're on the audio-only side of things, which has been growing a little bit more as of recent, I feel like. But if you'd like to hop onto the YouTube side of things, maybe see our goofy graphics that we make every now and then, or maybe there's a more visually entertaining episode, like maybe if we do like a tier list or something, you can go onto the YouTube at Is the Order an Anime Podcast. Can't possibly miss it. We're the only one. Episodes up every Saturday, 3 p.m. EST, without fail, except for when it does. So thank you for sticking with us. Happy birthday to the Gochuucast. Don't expect any major changes, I guess, but we'll do our best to make season 2. I guess we're dubbing it season 2. Season 2 of Gochuucast. That much better than the first. We have a year of experience under our belt, though, so we can't possibly be worse than the first year, certainly. Yeah. Thank you for watching, and we will see you hopefully in another edition. Goodbye.